So good afternoon. We're back with Fun with Monu-Cad. I had a question about justification in lettering. Left, right, center, split one, split two. What do all these things mean? So we've got some lettering here on the screen, and these are done several different ways. So let's dive into them a little bit. Let's look at the top one here, John. We've got these dates here. So typically we're going to put our name and our dates in right here. We're going to choose Press Modified Roman because that's a font that everybody uses. Primary size is 1.5 inches. Our dates here are 1.25 inches and 1.25 inches. We're not worried about any of this information on this side. We're going to focus here on justification. So if I select John, hold my Shift button down, I can connect all three groups of lettering, and I'm going to choose center here. That's going to be the most commonly used justification. Centered is going to give each line their own length, and each one's going to be centered here on our red dot in the center of our drawing. So we're going to go back to edit, and we're going to choose John, January, or let's just choose John and set John to be left justified. We're going to leave these two alone for right now. These are both going to be centered. So we're going to choose John and choose left, and we'll see that John is now left justified based on our red dot that's here. If we edit this again, we can choose all three, left justify all three, and you can see again, now they're all left justified compared to our red dot. Right justified, do exactly the opposite. It'll justify everything. So we're on the right side of our page here. So let's put this back, all three back to center. Okay, and we're done. Now, we'll move on to the more advanced justifications. If we choose January and September, next one we do here is month, day, year, and we can choose a line length of whatever we want. Let's say we want from the end of January to the end of 2000 to be 15 inches long. We want the month to be 4 inches from January, from the beginning to the end. Same thing with our death date. And same thing with our year lengths. We're going to make these 4 inches. So we can set these to whatever we want. Now when we click OK, we're going to get a line width of 15 inches. Move this off to the side a little bit. Now our dates are 15 inches long. January is 4 inches. I believe we said that was 4. And our dates are 4 inches, which gives us some kind of goofy spacing. I don't like January spaced out this way, so that's not something I use. But you can adjust these to whatever you need them to be. The underline key, when we right click, we can edit. Let me give us a little more space here. I'm going to copy this down. Zoom in on this one here. Using the underline key instead of a dash, put an underline here. When we do that, we choose split. Choose our split distance. I'm going to give us a little more space this time, 7 inches. It's going to allow us to pull in a component. And we can take our Masonic emblem, and it will replace the dash with our component of our choosing. This is a little bigger than we want, so let's change this back to 5. Choose our Masonic emblem again. That looks a little better. The only other lettering groups that we didn't discuss are arc lettering. Let's get rid of this, and we're going to put a longer name in here. Arc lettering allows us to use a radius, a coordinate, or a mouse to choose an arc. Let's use a radius. Let's start our arc lettering at 0, 0, 0, center 0 for X, 0 for Y, and a radius of 12 inches. And it asks us if we want to put that lettering inside of that arc or outside of that arc. Let's do outside. Just move that up a little bit. So if we set it at 0, 0, which happens to be where the rest of my lettering was, we edit this, we can see again, radius, coordinate, use mouse. Let's copy this and try it another way. Let's say we have an arc that we want to follow that runs from here to here, and we want Johnson to be on that arc. We can edit, choose arc, we can choose mouse, outside, and do nearest point, nearest point, nearest point, and it puts Johnson on that arc. It also pops up the arc justification, which allows us to increase or decrease that arc. It also allows us to move that name around the arc, which is sometimes useful when trying to place inside of a scroll or inside of some other object. And we can, of course, increase our space between letters, decrease our space if we wanted to. The same thing we can do lettering inside of an arc. We can choose our arc here. Next, we can duplicate this, edit, and our last justification is vertical. Works just like it sounds. Vertical space above each letter. Let's put 1 inch. Choose OK. And now we have letters vertically spaced with 1 inch between each line, or between each letter. Those are some of the ways that we can justify letters in Monu-Cad. If you have any questions, check us out. YouTube, Fun with Monu-Cad.